I want to introduce Steve Divnick, the inventor of GolfEbikes. Hey Steve, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
So tell us a little bit about the thought process behind the e-bikes and tell us a bit about the e-bikes.
All right. GolfEbikes are a new way to play golf. You can ride straight to your own shot. You don't have to sit in a cart half the time watching somebody else play. It has 7 levels of intelligent pedal assist, so the motor does as much of the work as you want it to. But you don't have to pedal if you don't want to. You can use all throttle and ride it like a scooter. When you get to your shot, the bag carrier angles out and becomes a rock-solid kickstand, even on soft or uneven ground. Golf bikes are safe, fast, agile, and the most fun you can have between shots.
So Steve, what motivated you to come up with the idea for the e-bikes?
I have always liked to walk when I play because I want the exercise. But as I've gotten older, my joints hurt, my muscles hurt, and I knew the day would come when I couldn't walk anymore. And I didn't want to graduate from walking straight into a sit-down couch with 4 wheels. And I knew about e-bikes, and as an inventor, I solved problems. And the problem with e-bikes on the golf course had been that the bags were up on the rack using the bike's kickstand, which caused it to fall over. Now, soft ground or uneven ground, it just wasn't practical. But I remembered as a kid, I could put my left foot on the pedal, push off, and if I didn't swing my leg over, I could stand on the pedal and coast and never thought about balance. It just happened automatically. So I thought my idea was that I could put the bag on the side because the weight doesn't matter, you can't feel it, and then I could articulate it out into a kickstand angle and it'd be a lot more stable than any of the attempts in the past. So that's what motivated me, is to come up with a way to get exercise and not be sore at the end of a round and be able to use a bike that wouldn't fall over.
So obviously the bikes are great fun, but how long does it take to play 18 holes on an e-bike?
Well, because you're not sitting half the time waiting for someone else in your cart, you can ride straight to your own shot. And when we go out in the morning and there's nobody ahead of us, we can play in 2.5 hours at the most without rushing. I mean, we don't rush, we just don't sit and wait. It's the truest form of ready golf.
Yeah, we all need to play a bit quicker, don't we?
Well, if we don't speed up the game, we're going to lose a generation because it takes too long to play.
How many gears does the bike have?
The bike has 7 gears. The lowest gear is a granny gear, so you can climb those steep elevated tee boxes, and the high gear allows you to maintain some top speeds, 28 miles an hour on the road. Now, not on the golf course, you don't go that fast there. It has 7 gears, but it also has 7 levels of pedal assist.
Sorry.
So the pedal assist is 7 would be 100% power. Pedal assist 1 would be about 10% power. So it's intelligent and it knows how much you want based on what you set that pedal assist setting for.
So obviously it's an e-bike. The question I'm sure a lot of people are going to be asking is, do you have to pedal?
No. You can ride it like a scooter with all throttle, but most of the time when people are on a bike, their legs are going to move just naturally, even if you're not putting power and sweat into it. You don't have to get a workout. You can if you want to, but you can just ride it like a scooter with a throttle only.
Yeah.
Just like a golf cart, I suppose, except you're standing up and having a lot more fun.
Perfect.
Sitting up.
I see that some e-bikes online are being sold for under $1,000. Are they any good? How do your bikes compare to that?
Well, they're probably good for just tootling around the neighborhood, but other bikes have light-duty frames. Our bike is a super heavy-duty frame, and that's why it's heavier than other bikes. It also has the best battery in the industry with LG or Samsung cells, so it'll go 3 rounds without pedaling and still have battery left over, or you can ride 40, 60 miles. Depends on how much you pedal and how heavy you are. But it is so different than a regular cheap e-bike that just isn't going to last on a golf course.
Advertised, there are 27 unique features of the e-bike. Name us a couple.
In addition to the fact that the frame is super heavy duty, the rear rack is welded. It's not a bolt-on tube. There are a number of features that make it totally unique from other bikes. It has a lower and more open step-through space, which is important because you're getting on and off between every shot, and you want that to be as low and open as possible. It has golf course approved fat tires that are not knobbies. That's important. You don't want knobbies on a golf course, and you certainly don't want them on wet pavement because they just don't have enough safe traction. We do. Our tires lock you to the ground even on wet side slopes, but definitely on pavement they're a lot safer. It has a custom long front fender that catches the wet grass on dewy mornings. And if you don't have that, you're going to take the golf course home with you. It has wider handlebars for more control. 7 gears with a lower low and a higher high. 7 levels of pedal assist when most bikes have 3 or 5. It has an independent throttle so you can accelerate to your desired speed and then use your pedals if you want to, or keep using the throttle. Because it's an independent throttle, you can get a run at hills and you don't have to change the pedal assist setting in order to get your speed up. It has a built-in mounting plate on the side of the rack, so it's easy to put the bag carrier on. It has a super wide seat that's very soft and comfortable with a zoom suspension, which is a lot smoother acting than other e-bikes have. It has a sand bottle holder. We want to be good citizens on the golf course and maintain it, so we always fix our divots. It has 3 USB ports. There's one on the handlebar, one on the bottom of the color display, and there's one on the battery. So if you lose power at home, you can pull the battery out and run your cell phone for days. It's got a lot more than that. That's just some of the 27 features that are unique to this e-bike, especially in combination.
Brilliant, brilliant. Are the e-bikes easy to work on and maintain if you purchase one?
Yes. A lot of the components are very common with other e-bikes, and there are numerous YouTube videos. So if a person has a question about how to do something, they can just do a web search and they'll probably find several answers. We have a very thorough manual, maintenance manual. There's not a lot that you have to do to maintain them, just keep the nuts and the bolts tight. Other than that, they're very durable, and if there's anything that breaks, under warranty, we take care of that. And we just haven't had that kind of a problem. These are well proven with components that have handled the test of time.
So obviously there's other modes of transportation on the golf course as well. How do the Golf e-bikes stand up to the other single rider options out there?
Single rider options have been around for about 10 years, and one of the biggest differences is they are way more expensive. We just attended the PGA show and we saw a stand-up board that was $8,950.
Wow.
Our e-bikes sell for $2,095. And if you get 2 or more, it's $100 less. There's a number of other elements that make them different. The fat tire scooters want to go straight. The fat tires don't like to turn, so they're very difficult to maneuver and therefore not as safe. The stand-up boards won't make sharp turns. It takes a lot of practice, whereas you can hop on a bike, and if you've ever ridden one before, it's like riding a bike. It's very, very easy. They have dual hydraulic disc brakes, so they're extremely safe. You can stop on a dime if you have to. You can literally ride circles around all the other devices that are out there. So that's pretty cool. You pay a lot less and you get a lot more, and none of those other devices have pedals, so you can't get any exercise while you're riding. Maybe the biggest difference is that you can't do anything else but play golf on those other devices. But with an e-bike, when you're done playing golf, you can take the bag carrier off. It takes 2 seconds, literally, and you can go to the market to get a gallon of milk at 28 miles an hour if you want to. You can go on family rides. You can take it on mountain trails, bike trails, put it on the back of RVs, ride it on the beach. It's a lot more than just a golf e-bike.
Is there any special license required for an e-bike?
No. By law, in most states, they allow a Class 2 or a Class 3 e-bike, and that's a speed difference. Class 2 is 20 miles per hour, Class 3 is 28 miles per hour. We ship ours as a Class 3, but it's very easy to lower that to limit it to 20 miles per hour if your jurisdiction requires that. But it's bicycle rules, so you do not need any other kind of endorsement or license.
How can the golf course benefit from using Golf e-bikes?
It's a great question. There's 2 or 3 ways a golf course can benefit. The first way is if they allow consumers to bring their bikes to the course, it's going to speed up the game. And that's something we have to do as an industry. We can't keep playing, 5-hour rounds is just going to kill green grass golf. We've got to speed it up because today's, let's say 30, 40-year-olds are just not going to take the time to play. So we need to attract younger golfers. E-bikes will not only attract younger golfers, but we have found that a lot of our customers are 50, 60, 70 years old, and like I'm 74. And one of the reasons I like it so well is I can now play more often because I'm not sore. I'm not limited to 1 or 2 times a week. I can play 3 or 4 times a week. But what if seniors, which make up the majority of a lot of golf courses, what if seniors could play just 1 more time per week? That's enormous benefit to the golf course. And of course, golf courses can get bikes and rent them out and then make rental income.
Yeah. As
an example, we have a course in Colorado that bought 4 e-bikes. They couldn't keep up with the demand, so they got 6 more, and they're rented out all the time. They rent them as much as 3 times a day.
Wow.
And they're very popular. People come from a long distance away to be able to play golf on a bike.
Wow, love that.
I would add to that bikes can speed up the round, and let's say 2.5 hours. Maybe it only cuts an hour off. Let's be generous with that. But that's about 25 or 30% faster. And if you could get everybody on their own wheels, whether it's a cart, a bike, or scooter, anything else, you could put 30% more golfers out in a day. That has to be appealing to golf courses.
Absolutely, yeah. So obviously, it's a single rider option, and everybody's wondering, are there any safety precautions needed to take place?
Sure. You could be careless on anything. We've seen pictures of people that take golf carts into lakes. But there's a self-preservation at work on a bike. You're exposed, so you're going to ride more carefully than some people ride inside of a cart where they think they're in a roll cage. They're not. But you have to be a little bit careful around edges, the right-hand edge of a cart path. You don't want to go off at a slight angle, because the tire will drop down and the bottom of the bag carrier might hit the curb or something like that. So you want to go off at about a 90-degree angle. But they have dual disc brakes, and they're very, very safe to ride, very agile, very easy to maneuver around tight spots if you want to. And then when you're straight away, you can just really fly right straight to your shot.
Okay. What sort of effect does the Golf e-bike have on the maintenance of the golf course?
So that's a great question that a lot of people ask. We've done the math, the pounds per square inch math. On an e-bike, it's less than half the pounds per square inch impact on the turf as a golf cart. So way easier on the course than a cart would be.
Wow, good to know, good to know. Let's say I'm going to take an e-bike and I've got to go up a ridge or up a slope. Is the e-bike equipped to handle that?
Yeah, it has 750 watts, so it's quite a bit of power. But it is a pedal assist bike, so sometimes you have to pedal to help it out. You can always pedal if you want to, but sometimes you need to on the really steep hills. I mean, it does have 7 gears, with the low gear being very, very low. So some tee boxes are very elevated and it's pretty steep and you can ride up. If you don't want to, you can hop off and use what we call the walking mode. You just long press the minus button and the bike just starts walking itself and you walk beside it. So it'll handle any terrain.
Brilliant, very good. How do you transport the e-bike to and from the golf course?
Well, you can either ride it. The bike will go 40 to 60 miles on the road. It'll go 3 rounds on a golf course. So if you live within, say, 5-10 miles, it's a very easy ride to the course. If you want to go a little bit farther or you don't want to ride it to the course, it'll fold up. The handlebars will fold down and you could stick it in the back of a minivan or a pickup or something like that. If you have something smaller, you can fold it in the middle. The tires come around on themselves and you could stick it in the trunk or in an SUV.
Is there any liability required either from the owner of the e-bike or the golf course?
Liability is a question that a lot of golf courses ask and some consumers ask. So a person obviously has to be responsible for themselves, and the legal precedent for all golf courses in America is that the golfer is responsible. So if you break a window, you have to pay for it. If you run a cart in the lake, you have to pay for it. Obviously, the golfer has to be careful. We do have liability waivers that the golfers can sign. If golf courses get the e-bikes, their umbrella policy covers them just as well as it does a golf cart, but they would want to check with their insurer.
Sure.
We do have a sheet and a video, a training video that's really short that shows how easy it is to operate. And I recommend that the golf courses get a person to sign that sheet, that they've read it, and it holds them, they take responsibility
Sure.
for safety themselves. And every golf course, I think, wants to be safe, and so do the golfers.
I agree. The groups that are playing social golf, can we attach a cooler?
Yes. We have some what they're called wire baskets, actually folding wire baskets that we found on Amazon. There's dozens of them. Any kind of a basket, you can hook it right on the side, and it'll hold a cooler bag and carry, your big GPS if you want to, or anything else you want to throw in there.
Are there any typical rules we should follow for riding an e-bike on a golf course?
Right. The golf courses can make their own rules, of course, and we encourage them to do that. But most golf courses allow e-bikes to function the same way as a bag carrier. So you can ride right up to, but not on, a green and a tee box. Because you can ride straight to your own shot, you can take advantage of that all over the course. You don't have to limit yourself to the path unless the golf course wants you to. And of course, if it's a soggy day and it's cart path only, most golf courses are probably going to also have the bikes stay on the path.
Perfect. So how do golf e-bikes as a two-wheel option compare to a three-wheel option?
Another great question. A lot of people ask that. They think that a three-wheeled or a four-wheeled contraption is more stable, but it's not. Because when you have more than two wheels, you're always going to be parallel to the slope. So if you're on uneven ground at all, it's very unstable, whereas a two-wheeled bike is always perpendicular to gravity. So you're always upright. Plus, you can go through narrower spots. It's a lot more maneuverable than anything that has more than two wheels.
Sure. So obviously, golf's an outdoor sport, and regrettably, we have to play in the rain sometime. How do the e-bikes hold up in the rain? If
you're on an e-bike and it's raining, you're going to get wet. I would call that one of the downsides of the e-bike, but you're going to get wet if you're in a cart too. You just get a little wetter, I suppose, on a bike. You could probably maneuver an umbrella, but when you're going forward, that wind is going to be too awkward, so they're just not very good in rain. They are mostly not waterproof, but water resistant, so you can ride them in the rain, you can ride them through puddles, but we don't recommend trying to get them wet. When we hose them off, we don't aim right at the electronics.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Steve, for giving us a good education on the e-bikes. We tried them earlier, we love them, and we can't wait to see more of them around the golf courses.
I think they're going to become as common on golf courses as carts.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Cheers.